Hey everybody. Yeah, I don't know. But I said I try to do a video once a week, so here's my next one. In honor of my youngest turning 1 on the 29th of this month, I thought it would be fun to do like a labor and delivery kind of thing, even though I really didn't labor. But anyways, I was diagnosed with high blood pressure with my first, and it never went away. Although it did get better, it just didn't go completely away. So I still had it when I got pregnant with Lars. And so they watched me very closely, and nothing. Like, my blood pressure was always pretty good. I had like one flare up where I had to go to the labor and delivery and be checked out. But other than that, it was usually pretty good. So, it was the Saturday before the 29th, and the 29th was a Monday. So the 27th of August, I was sleeping, and it was like 2 o'clock in the morning, and I woke up and I was like, ugh! I like felt like I couldn't breathe. I wasn't sure if he was in my lungs or what was going on, because he was breech until 37 weeks. So this was a week after he had flipped. I had no idea he had flipped, though. So the whole day, I kind of just went about my business, sorry about that, with everything, and throughout the day I just felt like my chest was heavy and I couldn't breathe, and it was just awful. So I ended up going to labor and delivery that night after my oldest went to sleep, and, they kind of checked everything out. They said he was fine. They gave me a breathing treatment. They said they could hear a little wheeze in my chest, that maybe I had a cold, and I had a cold like basically my whole pregnancy with him, so that wouldn't surprise me if I came back again. And they sent me home that Sunday. He didn't really move a whole lot, and then that Monday, the 29th, I had an ST scheduled. So I went into my doctor's, had a bottle of water with me, I had ate breakfast. They hooked me up, to the contraction and the heart rate, and she asked me how I was doing because she knew I had been in the hospital on Saturday. And I said, he's not moving like he usually does, and I still have that weird feeling, and I still do that sometimes at night. So she did the NST, and she'd come in and she looked at the strip, and she left. Then she came in and she looked at the strip, and she left. And I loved my doctor. My doctor was amazing. She came in, she looked at the strip, she left. She came in, she looked at the strip, turned off the machine, and said, okay, I'm going to send you to the hospital for further testing. Don't drink that water. Hang on. Sorry, my 3-year-old is yelling numbers at me. But she said, and don't drink that water. So, I'm like, oh my gosh, because I have C-sections. Don't drink the water. Yeah. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I wonder what's going on. So I get in my car, and I called my mom, who had my son at the time, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on. I'm being sent to the hospital, and I was told to drink this water. She said, do you think you're having the baby? And I'm like, I'm not sure. I don't know what's going on. So, 5, yeah! He loves numbers. So I'm like, well, I have to call Lisa because Matt's at work, and we only have one car. So I ended up calling Matt first because I don't know what I was thinking. I told her what was going on, and I called my sister, and I called her at work and told her she had to leave because I was pretty sure I was having the baby that day. And anyway, she got out of work. She went and got my husband, took him home to change, and brought him to the hospital. But to go back a step, I got to the hospital, and usually when you go up, you go into triage. When I went up, I went into a regular room, and I'm like, what's going on? And they're like, oh, well, doctor wants you in a regular room. And I'm like, am I having the baby? They're like, we have no idea. I'm like, okay, great. So I'm waiting because my sister has to leave her job, go do everything she needs to do, go get my husband, take him home, get him changed, and bring him to the hospital. Because we only have one car. So I'm like, all right, here we go. And in the meantime, they did blood work, urine. They took me to an x-ray of my lungs to make sure I didn't have a blood clot. They did an ultrasound on the baby, and they told me he was 7 pounds and 15 ounces and measuring 38 weeks in 1 day. By my due date, I was 38 weeks exactly. So I went back up and we're waiting. And we're waiting. And we're waiting. And my husband comes and he says, oh, and then my husband comes and he asked me if I knew what was going on. I said, not yet. He said, do you think you're having the baby? Because if you are, I have to call my boss. And I'm like, I don't know. Nobody will tell me anything. And he's like, okay, chill. Well, then the CNA opens the door and she's like, I had to come in and ask you if your belt is real because he has a bullet belt. And he's like, no, it's not. He's like, oh, you scared? She's like, oh, you scared some ladies on the elevator. But anyways, so, you know, we're sitting there and it's getting closer and closer and closer to when his boss told him to come back if I wasn't having the baby. And it's getting closer and it's getting closer. And I'm like, oh my God. Donald Roy, stop. What if he has to leave and I don't know yet? So finally, like with 10 minutes to spare, the nurse comes in and she says, your doctor wants to do the C-section today. Your labs are a little off, but nothing too serious. But we don't know how that will look next week when your C-section is scheduled. Because my C-section was scheduled for September 6th. So I'm like, okay, so they have me get in the shower. My husband calls his boss. They have me get in the shower and they prep me. And they make me wash. And then, you know, they're doing the IV and getting the medicines ready. And now it's like 4 o'clock, and they said, I was like, well, what time do you think the C-section's going to be? They're like, well, as soon as her last appointment's done, she's coming over here. I'm like, okay. So we wait, and I call a couple friends. My sister comes up to the hospital, and we wait, and we wait, and we wait. It felt like forever, but finally at 6 o'clock, my doctor comes in, and she explains that, you know, my, some kind of acid was a little high, and she didn't want to wait the next week, and that everything should be fine. She met my husband. She told me she'd see me in the OR, and she left, and the surgical team come in, and they were hilarious, guys. Like, I loved my surgical team. Like, they're like, where's your medicine? I'm like, I don't know, and they both run out to go get the medicine, and they come back, and they're explaining stuff to me, and they try to unhook my bed, and she's like, oh, they tried to push the bed out, and it's hooked to the wall. She's like, oh, I have to get a nurse because I have no idea how to operate this bed, only an OR bed. And I was like dying. It was so funny. But they take me back into the room, the OR, to do my epidural. My husband's standing outside, you know, dressed in his gear, and they're trying to do the epidural, and the one lady's singing and dancing, and she was just so much fun. They all introduced themselves, and my dog. Then I finally got the epidural. It was like a really, really big blur. Like, I don't remember much. I remember my husband coming in and kissing me. We all talked. And next thing I knew, I heard a little beautiful baby boy cry. And he looked so amazing. He was adorable. And, you know, I don't really remember a whole lot. I remember they stitched me up. I remember getting on the bed and going back to the room where my husband was holding our little boy. It was amazing, guys. Like, he was holding him. It was so amazing. And he handed him to me, and I was like, are you hungry? And they didn't want me to start breastfeeding him for some reason. I don't exactly know why. But after a little bit, I was able to latch him, and I got extremely... And the lady's like, well, I'm going to go get your medicine. And by this time, it's like shift change, so I had a new nurse. And she's like, I'm like, okay. So she comes in, and she's hooking up this medicine, and I'm like itchy. Extremely itchy. I'm like... And my face itches and my whole body just itches. I'm like, I'm so itchy. And they're like, well, sometimes that can happen with a spinal block. I'm like, I feel like I'm on drugs, like on cocaine. I probably shouldn't have said that in a hospital. But, yeah. But I was offered Benadryl, but was told since if I had Benadryl, they'd have to have somebody stay the night with me. So I got one of my really good friends, too, because my husband had to go home with our oldest. And, yeah. It went pretty well. They said they would get me up in midnight because it's been 6 hours since my C-section as of midnight. But they didn't because my blood pressure was literally all over the place. At one point it was like 173 over 100, and then 5 minutes later it was 100 over 60, and they were just too worried about it. So I didn't actually get out of bed till like the next day. Like, I had my C-section at 6 p.m. on the 29th, I didn't get up till 11 a.m. on the 30th. But I was still fine. I pushed myself to walk and breastfeed. Breastfeeding was crazy because, you know, when they latch for that initial, like, you get those contractions and they hurt. They fucking hurt. But, yeah. But he came out, he was actually exactly 7 pounds and 15 ounces, 19 inches long, and he's still that little gorgeous redhead that I love so much. My doctor came in the next day, and, you know, she checked on me. Had to stay one more night. I stayed by myself that night. It was okay. I actually finally got some sleep, and my nurse that night was amazing. She got me a nipple shield, and she was just about really, really, really good nurse. And then the next day, I wanted to go home so bad. I missed my toddler, and I just wanted to go home. So I was crying because I missed him. And he was saying, "Mommy," on the phone to me. My doctor did not come back in that day until, I think it was like 5 o'clock that night. And she did tell me I could go home. And that I was doing amazing. Like, she said, "You're doing great." Like, a lot of people don't even want to get up and walk when they were in bed for, you know, I think it was like 17 hours after a C-section. Most people won't get up and walk. They just have so much pain, and you're doing amazing. So she let me go home, but first we had to do the circumcision. We didn't get out of there till like 8 o'clock that night. It was insane. But yeah, that's pretty much how it went. Yay! And pretty soon, come here, Larsy Bear. I'm going to show you my Lars. Hang on. Larsy, look. This is that little boy that was born a year ago on the 29th, watching TV. And I wouldn't trade him for the world. Hey, look. Look. But yeah, that's pretty much my labor and delivery story. My beautiful little boy is here in this world and amazing, and I wouldn't trade him for anything. But this video is probably my longest video, and I love you guys, and like I said, I will try to upload once a week. Subscribe, like, do what you need to do. Leave a comment of if you like videos like this or if you want me to do something else. Bye.